right, good morning, everybody. It's 9 o'clock, so we are going to get started in our first summer edition of PD by the Pool. Welcome. Today, we're going to be looking at Book Creator. On your screen, you should be able to see a bit.ly. If you guys will go ahead and type this address, http://bit.ly/2juw3rn. It is case sensitive. You will be able to get a copy of this presentation. Once you get that, you're going to want to go ahead and add that to your Google Drive. You will have that option to always get to it. So I'll give you a second to do that. I am talking. Hopefully, if you jumped on earlier, you also heard some beach music playing. If you have any issues hearing me at all, if you will put that into the chat and we'll see if we can troubleshoot it from our side. And don't worry, as I keep going, this bit.ly will be on all of the screens. So to keep our time going, I do want to keep moving. So before we really get started, I do want to pause for a moment from a word from our sponsor. This is part of Gaston Digital. Gaston Digital is paid for by a grant that we received from DPI. Our summer PD is also part of that grant funding, and we have some sessions going on in July. If you want to join us for PD by the Pool again in July, or come to any of our face-to-face sessions, if you will visit Gaston Digital, so you can click on the link on slide number 2, and it will take you to Gaston Digital website, and you will see the descriptions for the sessions that we have going and a form to register. Again, the bit.ly for today is on the slide, and Christy has also dropped it in our chat. This session is interactive, so it's not just me sitting here talking to you guys. You will be doing things because it's for DLC credit, so we're going to need an artifact, and I'll talk more about that in just a second. So you might want to have a second device on hand or switch back and forth between tabs. I will be switching back and forth between tabs as I'm doing this presentation. So our plan for today is diving into Book Creator. Absolutely love, love, love Book Creator. We're going to look at it on Chrome, even though there is also a paid app that you can get added to your iPads. You can use the web version, however, on the iPads too. So if you have iPads, it kind of works the same way. We're going to look at project ideas. We're going to do some creation. I'm going to do it, show you how, walk you through it, and then you'll do it. We'll have time for a Q&A. And then our end goal is to set a goal for you guys to actually implement this, hopefully next year with your students. So we pull our objectives for everything that we do PD from the North Carolina Digital Learning Competencies for Teachers. And you guys see that we have pulled from leadership and digital learning as well as digital content and instruction. The indicators are listed on your screen. I'm not going to read those to you because you're educated people and you can read. I'm going to apologize for the noise in the background. I'm hearing my outside chat going off on my computer. So a heads up for you guys, we do have to have evidence of learning for the DLC requirement. So at the very end of our session, I'm going to give you a link to a form that you will complete to show us that you attended today, as well as give me a link to your artifact that we're going to create together. So take a deep breath. This is not going to be hard. If you've been at PD in your PJs before during the year, you know it's very laid back, and we try to help you the best that we absolutely can. So speaking of that, who is along for the ride today? For those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Teresa Thomason. I am an elementary ITF for Gaston County Schools. Hard to believe when school starts back, and we'll be starting on year number 29. Yep, 29 years in this business. It's awesome. I love how everything's changing. Some for the better, We won't talk about the stuff that's not good. Positive, right? It's summer. Also, the wind beneath my wings. I could absolutely not do this without her. Christy Turner, she just turned on her video, so you should be able to see her. She runs the chat in the background and keeps me calm during this whole process. You want to say anything, Christy?
Hey guys, welcome today. Excited to have all you here.
Christy is also an elementary ITF handling schools up in the northern, western sort of kind of part of our county, and does a lot of other things for Gaston Digital. So the platform that we're using today is called Zoom. Just want to give you a quick, how does this work? It is a video conferencing platform, so you should be able to see my screen full blown on your computer or on your device. You should see a little bitty participants videos or their names for those that have turned those off up around your screen at some point. And you also have the option to open and close your chat. All of that works from the very bottom of your screen. So you can mute and unmute your microphone. By default, when you come into our sessions, we mute you. So we're not hearing background noise, or I'm not hearing feedback when I'm talking and I can hear it through your speakers. Right beside of the microphone, you guys will see the video icon. Sometimes you're going to want to turn your video on and off. If you can just click that video icon, it will turn that on and off for you. If you ever want to share your screen, I can give you permission to do that, and you would click the little green share the screen button, and as I mentioned, the chat. You can double click on your screen to go full screen and push escape to go back. As I said, Christy's running the chat, so if you have any questions at all, please be sure to put them in your chat or unmute your microphone and just ask. So speaking of chat, let's get started with that. I want to know who's with me today. So use the chat feature and introduce yourself. Tell me who you are and where you're teaching. Good morning, Tanya, Springfield. So I see a couple elementary people, a few middle school psychologists, awesome. Social workers, wow, we got a big range of people today. See a couple of my teachers. Good morning, guys. And you guys also have the ability in the chat to say something to one another. It's fun. All right, so I'm also curious, you know, we're still working, and this week we started our 10-hour days. So we've been here since 7 o'clock this morning, and we'll be till 6. So I'm curious, what is the world doing while I'm sitting here working? So on this slide, if you guys will click that link, it's going to take you to an answer garden poll. And I would love to know what's going on in the real world during summer. So once you click that link, you're going to type your answer in. And see, as you're typing, we're going to see a word cloud form. So I see family time, yay. Remember, the session is interactive, so please take part. Tell me what you're doing this summer. Are you reading? Are you swimming? Are you sleeping in? Are you staying up late? Are you binge watching Netflix? Tell me, what are you guys doing? Oh, naps. Hashtag jealous. Oh, look at you doing summer PD, bettering yourself. Traveling. Okay, maybe this wasn't a good idea on my part because I'm getting more and more jealous. So guys, what you're using is called Answer Garden. Very simple platform. It's free. You simply put in a question, and as you can tell, people can go here and type in an answer. And the more that the people are saying, the words get bigger, just like a normal word cloud. So that is a free side tool. It's not our focus for today, trust me. All right, so what is our purpose for today? Our focus is to look at Book Creator for Chrome. I'm not really going to talk a lot about what happens on the iPad. Your ITF will help you with that if you've got the app. There's just a couple of differences, not a lot, but you're going to discover how easy this tool is to use. No matter what you teach, no matter what grade level, it is super easy, even for kindergarten children. Everybody can use this tool. So I have a poll for you. I am curious if any of you have used Book Creator before. So I have just put a poll on your screen asking you how comfortable you are with Book Creator. If you're new to Book Creator, if you will let me know that. If you've ever used it, if you're sort of comfortable with it or used it some, if you will let me know that. Or if you are a power user of Book Creator and you're here for just ideas, I need to know that too. So give us a minute to get that poll. All right, it looks like 100% of you guys are brand new to Book Creator. That is exciting, very exciting. All right, let me get rid of this poll. All right, so what does Book Creator look like? I'm not going to go through this entire book, but I did use Book Creator to create a book about my journey through remodeling our kitchen. So this is a finished product. You can see that it has images, it has text. I was also able to handwrite inside this book. There's an audio. So as you can tell, if your students are not able to type, they can put audio in. Cute little shape icons that you can add, and you can also put video in. So I'm going to get to a part where I've got a video. So you get an idea of what it will do, and I promise you it is super easy. Everybody that's been introduced to this tool absolutely loves it. So why is it so wonderful? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. We call this an evergreen app or an evergreen tool, and that means it can be used, as I mentioned before, for any content that you teach or any grade level. Students and teachers basically have a blank canvas to share their learning. So you could use this to share a textbook. And it's easy to use because basically you're creating a book. You're just creating a digital one. Another reason this tool is so fabulous is because it provides an authentic audience for your students. And you've heard the ITFs talk about that a lot. They do better quality work if the work goes outside of your classroom walls. So this is a great way to do that because it gives you a link that's published online. And unless you have the link, you can't see the book. So it works very well for that. But unlike static books or books that you hold in your hand and go to the library to check out or go to your bookshelf and pull off, Book Creator can have multiple types of media. So as you noticed in my example, it's not just pictures and text. It also includes video, it has audio, you can put maps in, and you can embed things from the web in your book. It also has some accessibility features that are pretty awesome because that levels the playing field by providing a voice to text option for your students. So as I mentioned before, even if you teach kindergarten, the students can type or talk into the microphone on the Chromebook, and it will type out what they're saying. There is also an included search for Google that will allow students to search for images that are allowed to be used. That means they're either out in the public domain or they're Creative Commons where people are allowing them to be used. And you don't have to worry about the images, number one, and you don't have to worry about whether they're using the wrong images. Another great feature to Book Creator is, as a teacher, you have a classroom library. So you're able to see all of your students' books in one place. So once they are starting their books, you can monitor their progress in real time from your library. You can give them feedback. You can even combine images. So instead of every kid creating a book, every student could be responsible for a page or two, and then as a teacher, you can combine all of those pages into one class book. So that works, again, really well for kindergarten, especially at the very beginning of the year. So that is another really cool feature of Book Creator. So all of these things are great, but we need to always keep in mind that the technology is not the be-all, end-all. That is not our focal point. Our focus is the story or the content that we're trying to convey. So when you are doing a Book Creator project with your kids, you're going to want to use the same standards and criteria that you use when they're doing paperwork. So hold them to those same standards. And if you're really and truly doing a book, then they're still going to go through the whole writing process. So they're either going to need a storyboard of their writing, or they're going to need scripts so they know what they're going to be saying throughout their writing. So it's enough for me talking for a few minutes. What I want you guys to do next is I want you to explore some options of things that you can really do with Book Creator. I've listed on this slide some possible options, but I want you as educators to actually look at some. So on slides 22 through 24 are different examples. Slide 22 has elementary examples. Slide 23 has a couple of secondary examples, and slide 24 gives you an example of how you can use this as a teacher. So I'm going to be quiet for just a couple of minutes and let you guys click on the links that are included in this presentation out to these examples so you can see the possibilities of what Book Creator will do. All right, guys, if you will come back to the presentation, after looking at least hopefully one example that you got to kind of look at, I want you to think about what interests you the most about the possibilities of Book Creator. And I'm going to ask that you unmute your microphone and tell me an idea that you saw that was interesting to you. Be even more awesome if you turn your video on so I can see you. Thanks,
Hello.
LaTanya.
Hey, I particularly liked I was looking at the elementary section, and I liked how it gets the kids very involved and interactive into it. I think that's a really neat tool. And I have, a child that's an elementary age, so that's something that I can even do with him here, even though I don't work in a classroom.
Right, absolutely. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? Hey, thank you, Emily.
Hey, I thought one of the things I looked at, I teach middle school, was the school newsletter. I thought that was really fun. And even not even necessarily doing a school newsletter, but doing like a classroom newsletter that, my 3 blocks can share between the 3 of them. So I thought that was pretty fun.
Yeah, that's a neat idea. That was way thinking out of the box when I saw that one. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Hey, Brandy.
Hey, Teresa, I like the one where they actually used for the elementary with the fractions, how they posed the question and then they answered it with coloring in how much of the fraction was used. That was a good idea that I could use in the classroom too.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's hard sometimes to find ways to incorporate math and technology together, and that is a great example. Thank you, Brandy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey there.
Hey.
I really like the hurricane booklet that the kids did. That would actually work great with my 5th graders. So they're showing me how they understand certain science topics and creating books to share with their friends.
Yes, and what a great way to use that at the end of the year to review. Love that. Thank you, Tasha. Anybody else? All right, awesome. Thank you guys for sharing that. And you can always remember, you save this presentation in your drive, so you can go back and look at those examples later. So now what we want to do is actually get our hands on Book Creator, because you guys told me this is new to you. So we got to get our feet wet with it. So the way that we're going to do it is I'm going to show you, and then we'll do it together, and then you'll be able to do it on your own. So that's kind of the model that we're using. Elementary teachers, that's kind of what we do in the classroom. So I'm just picking that up for this idea. So now what I want you guys to do is I want you to go to the website, and it's app.bookcreator.com, and you can just click the link in the presentation or type it in. Number one reason that I love Book Creator from the start is it's a single sign-on with Google. So once you get there, notice that there's 2 tabs on your screen. One says student sign in and one says teacher sign in. So you guys are going to click on teacher sign in and then click the sign in with Google and sign in with your Google account. By the way, I have linked a handout for you guys on the slide that kind of walks you through all of this to how to get started, complete with screenshots that have been updated with the new, there's a typo. Fix that right quick. Anyway, with screenshots and directions on how to do this. So please stop me, question in chat, or LaTanya, go out and make sure you're clicking on teacher. If you click on student, it's going to ask you for a teacher code. which I'll show you later how you guys are going to get that to share it with your kids. So make sure that you flip over to the tab. By default, when you land on app.bookcreator.com, it thinks you're a student. It wants to make it as easy as possible for students. So that is the first tab that's automatically opened up. So Latonya, if you'll go back and make sure that you click on the teacher sign in and let me know that you're okay. Please, ma'am. Please and thank you. All right, so I'm going to come out of the presentation. Okay, good, she's got it. And I am going to go over to my book creator. Get out of my other stuff here. So hopefully, once you have authenticated with your Google sign-in, told them what grade level or whatever they normally ask you for that, you are getting to your dashboard. Now your dashboard is going to look different from mine because I've used Book Creator, so I actually have books. You guys will only probably have the Getting Started tutorial booklet that's provided by Book Creator. So don't panic if it's not exactly like this, but the main part should look like it. Like you should have a golden new book button up in the top right hand corner. You should have books leaning up against each other and the share button and the play button down at the very bottom. Let me know if you guys don't see that. Anyone? Anyone? Okay, so let's get started. The first thing we want to do is create a new book. So we're all going to click the golden plus button where it says new book. And once you do that, on your screen, you guys should see two shelves basically. The top shelf shows plain book shapes that you can choose. The bottom one is comics. Yes, stop the presses. Your kids can do graphic novels. They can just create a comic strip. All of that is available through Book Creator. Have I mentioned yet that this is free? Maybe I should have started with that. It's free. So I'm going to choose the landscape at the top. I'm not going to do comics for you guys today. I want to keep it simple and kind of keep it clean. It's not that much different. It's just that it's got the comic boxes and stuff, and I just don't want to use that today for our presentation. So I'm going to click on the landscape. So I've got lots of real estate, if you will, to use. My example that I showed you with my kitchen remodel, I used the square. So I'm going to click on landscape, and I want you guys to do the same. And now basically we have a blank white piece of paper on our digital screen, and at the top it says cover. So just like a normal book that we pick up off the shelf, it needs a cover. So I typically remind students that a cover has some kind of illustration or picture. It has a title and it has the author's name. So that's the expectation for this cover. So how do you add things to your book pages? If you guys will look in the top right-hand corner, you're going to see a plus button, universal across all platforms to add. And when I click that, I have a choice of adding media items, and I can add shapes. If you chose comics, you will have a third tab that will have the comic like Pow and Bang and all of the layouts and stuff. So I'm going to start with a picture. So I'm under the plus on the media tab, and I'm going to choose import because I'm bringing in something. So when I click import, and I want you guys to do that too, you will notice the very first tab is going to let me search for images, as I mentioned before, that are allowed to be used in other works. But you'll notice the tabs, I could also add maps. I could put files from a computer. I could add anything from my Google Drive, and I also can embed something from a website. Today we're going to keep it simple, and we're just going to look for images. So I'm going to go back to my being envious of you guys with your summer. So my book is going to be about summer. So I am typing in the word summer and I am searching for images. And I can scroll through and I'm looking for an image that will go on the front cover of my book. So I'm going to click the image and it's going to put a blue box around it and a check mark. And then I'm going to click select. So I'm going to give you guys just a moment to pick an image. And this is where being virtual is difficult. So if I'm going too fast, unmute your microphone and let me know that, or put it in chat. Because I can't walk around and see your computers. All right, so we have a lovely image now on the cover. If you click on the image, you're going to have your selector tools. So I'm going to make my image a little smaller. And I want to kind of center it to my page. So now I have the front image. Covers need an image, it needs a title, and it needs the author's name. So now we're going to add the title to the book. So I'm going to click plus, and I am going to select text. Wait for it. All right, you guys that teach K1 or EC students that need additional support, notice that there's a microphone. So if they can't type yet or they have issues with their dexterity with their fingers or whatever, you can use the microphone and it will text to type for them. So I'm going to title my book Summer Dreams because I'm dreaming about the wonderful summer that you guys are having. So once you get your title, you can move it around wherever you want it on your page. I'm gonna put it embedded in my picture. So, I don't really like how the font looks. I want to change that. How do you do that? Notice that I have it selected. So have yours selected with the blue box around it. And then go back to the top right-hand corner and click the italicized I. That's called the inspector. This is the button that you click on anytime you want to make edits or changes to an item. So this is like your edit button. So I can move the slider to make my text bigger. I can center the text. I can change the font style from the default to something else. By the way, if you do teach EC students, notice that it has the open dyslexic font in here for the students that are dyslexic. I am also going to change the color, make it more summery. And because I've clicked on color, I'm going to click the back arrow to get back to all of my other choices. I might even put a light colored background in the middle, like, okay. Click apply to get that there. Go back with my arrows. If I want to put a shadow on it, I can. Ooh, that doesn't look good. So there's my title. I'm going to give you guys just a couple of moments to do that, and then go back and add text box of your name. And at this point, I would be walking around behind you, see where you are. I can't do that. So let me know if you have questions or need help or you're running into a glitch, because if you are, chances are someone else is too. All right, and in about 30 seconds, we're going to go to the next item. Let me know if you need more time than that. All right, so hopefully we all have our front cover. Now we are ready to actually start the inside of the book or tell the inside of the story. Now remember, your students don't have to do multiple pages because as a teacher, you're going to be able to combine pages. So you may have, if you're doing weather, like Tasha was talking about, you could have each student do a particular weather system and then combine it all together into one big book if you wanted to do that. And I'll show you that part from the teacher side in just a moment. But we're going to do another page because this is going to be your artifact that you're turning into me. So I want to see a cover and then we're going to go into another page. So to add a page or to get to your next page, over in the right beside of your book cover, there is a go forward arrow to the right. And it says next page when you hover over it. If you guys will click that, now we're inside the book. So on this one, we are going to explore the other items that you can add. So we've added an image already. You've added text. Let's click the plus button. And let's investigate the pen tool. So I'm going to click the pen. Now this is a little tricky on computers if you don't have an exterior mouse. Your students will do better than we do with this typically. But you can physically write, as you saw in my example, something that you want to write about. So I'm going to choose my shape or my size of my pen. I want it to be about that size. If you click the black circle, that is your color palette. So I'm trying to think of sunny colors for summer. So I'm going to choose a golden yellow. And I'm just going to simply write a word. Maybe high summer. No judging, please, on my writing. So if you guys will write a simple word or something on the page, just so you can do your pen tool. By the way, there is an eraser. If you make a mistake, you can erase. So I'm going to erase my exclamation point, and then I'm going to put it back. Just by simply clicking on the pen again. So once you have written whatever you're going to write, in the top right-hand corner, there's the Done button. So we are done with the writing. So I'm going to click that. And it adds it to the page. Now notice when I click on it on my page, I can move it wherever I need it to go. And I also can resize it if it came in too big. All right, the next thing we want to do is not everybody likes the plain white backgrounds on a page. So how do you do the background colors on a piece of paper in your book? So again, if you guys will click the plus button in the top right-hand corner. No, sorry, my bad. You're going to click the I because we're doing the page. And now you'll notice, because we don't have anything selected, Book Creator automatically knows that we are going to we're going to format a page. So as you scroll down, you'll see the recent ones that I've used, but you also see categories. So if you want some of the comic look in this, ooh, that looks like a sun. Maybe I better use the blue. There's other choices though, just normal paper. So for math, as Brandy mentioned earlier, there's graph paper. There's the little, can't even think, the geo boards, background pages, all of that stuff is in here. You can add fancy borders. As you can see, I can get really, really fancy and just have cute border on my page. There's patterns, there's textures. So I'm going to give you guys just a couple of seconds to explore the options that are available for your backgrounds. Okay, come back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you put a background on your page, that's fine. If you didn't, that's okay too. I'm going to leave my background as it is right now. I am going to click plus one more time. I want to show you 2 more things before we come out of this part. If you want to add shapes, again, under your add menu, you're going to go to the shapes button, and you'll notice that you have shapes that you can add. So I'm going to add the thought bubble, wishing I was at the beach. You'll notice that you have some simple shapes there. And last but not least, I'm going to go back to the plus button, choose media, and I'm going to call your attention to the camera. If you click the camera and allow it, now you guys see why I'm really not at a pool. I have a green screen behind me. I can take a picture and have a picture of myself in the book. So if your students are doing a book, then absolutely have them do an author's page and take a picture of themselves and tell something about the author. But notice also you can record video. So if you'll remember back to my kitchen remodel example, there was a video recorded in there, recorded straight out of Book Creator. So all of the tools that you need are available right within Book Creator itself. I am not going to take a picture or record a video right now for the book, so I'm going to cancel that. And then the other multimedia feature under your plus button to add is record. Because remember, I've said this levels the playing field for your students. So if you want them to record their audio, they click record. Up in the top right-hand corner, you click start recording. It counts down for them. Now what they are saying is actually being recorded to be put on their page. So they could read their writing or what have you, and you're capturing their voice. Click stop recording, use recording, and it puts a little speaker icon that can be moved anywhere on the page that when played, whoa, loud, too loud, it will have their voice. How cool is this, right? Love, love, love Book Creator. All right, guys, what questions do you have about the features that I've showed you so far? All right, I'm going to take that silence as there's not any questions. So while we're still in the editing mode, the last button that we've not clicked on at all in the top right-hand corner is the play button. This is your preview button. So if you'll click play, it's going to preview from wherever you start, but notice that it flips the pages. All of your audio is there. It is pretty stinking awesome. Anybody notice a special button up in the top right-hand corner that shows up when you are in preview mode? Read to me. So Book Creator will actually read the books. So again, if you're working with young students, you're combining their books together, they could click the read to me, and there's an ebook that your students actually created that is being read to them. While we're here, you'll notice that there is a share icon. It's the less than symbol with the little dots on it. That's your share. If you will go ahead and click that and publish it online and grab that link, you're going to need that in just a little while. So again, share, publish online, make sure you have a book title, and then click publish book. And then copy the link, copy public link to share. So it's going to sit on your clipboard on your computer, and you're going to add that in just a second. And anytime you can come back and you can stop publishing. All right, so in the top left-hand corner, if you guys will click edit, and it gets us back to our book so we could keep adding pages to it. Unlimited number of pages, so you can make a book as long as you want it to be. Again, if you will go to the top left-hand corner and click My Books, it's going to take you back to your bookshelf, and your book and any others that you create will live here. This is your library as a teacher. This is not your student library. So let me show you how to get to all of that. So give you just a second to make sure you are back to your bookshelf, where you can see the menu button in the top left-hand corner. We call them pancakes. If you'll click the pancakes in the top left-hand corner, that's going to bring you to your teacher dashboard. Now, I said Book Creator is free, and it absolutely is free. You get a library that you have access to. You can publish those books online, give those links out to your kids. All that's great. That lives in My Books. As a teacher, you guys can create a library. I'm on the free account. I can only create one, so I already have a teacher account. But you guys would click the Create a New Library. You would name it. And this is where, LaTanya, you would get the class code to join a teacher account. So I'm going to jump into my teacher one and show you what a class code looks like. So if I were inviting you to my class library, you guys would sign into Book Creator as a student and put this code in. So what I would do as a teacher, I would put a link in my Google Classroom, put the code there so they can click it, and then copy and paste the code. And they sign in with their Google account. So this is my teacher account. These are books that my students have made or I've made, and I have access to all of them. So as I mentioned before, I could combine these pages into one great big book. So I want to show you really quickly how to do that, and all of this is in the handout that's linked to the presentation, so don't get too upset if you don't get it the first time I show you. So I'm in my classroom library. Down in the bottom, the books that are standing up with one leaning against each other. If I click that, I can then combine books. Notice my choices are, I can import a book from somewhere, I can copy the book I have selected, or I can combine them or delete a book. So I'm going to click combine, and then all of my students' books will show up here, and you just simply click on the books that you want to combine and click next, and it will build demo combo. It will build a book with those particular pages. So here's my demo combo that I just created. As a teacher, you would have to change the page, the cover, but then as I go through, notice the pages from the other, and I pulled a book that didn't have all of them, but all of the pages are showing up from the books that I've combined. So that's how you can get around kids having long books to create. You just have them create a page together. All right, back to my presentation. So we have, again, all of your handouts for everything is linked in this document. So if you have questions, check that. You can get back to me. You can ask your ITF. We'll be glad to help you. You don't have to necessarily have the books live on the web. You can download them as an ebook and save to Google Drive. If you do that, there is an app that's loaded here as linked that the kids would have to use to actually read them, because they are ebooks and they have to have some kind of platform to read them on if you don't publish them to the web. Super easy to do. That's there if you decide to do it that way. I talked about your teacher class, your dashboard. Oh, I forgot about joining another library. So let me go back really quickly to my dashboard. And you'll notice that I'm also in Christy's class as a student, because she has shared this with me, and I can create books and I would land in her classroom library. If I want to join another library, I just click join and I put that code in for that teacher's class. So that's easy peasy way to join a class. So the resources, there's tons out there for you guys. Book Creator constantly is doing webinars, updating their stuff. They have a great support group. They also have a very active Facebook group. I'm a member of that group. I get ideas from them all the time. The handouts, again, are linked on this page. If you're on Twitter, they also do Twitter chats, and they, if you message them on Twitter or tweet at them on Twitter, they will respond back to you. So now let's get down to some ideas of how you can implement this in your classroom. So as I've mentioned, lots of times students can make one page. So why not start the year with an About Me book and have a page for every student in your class, giving some information about themselves, and then combine it into one great big book. Look at your unit of study that's coming up and see if maybe it could be a culminating project. I know Writer's Workshop, you guys are always looking for ways to publish books, but creators are a great way to do that. Maybe as a teacher, you want to start off with the textbook. That could be your implementation plan. Or you want to create an exemplar for the other students to look at when they're creating a project. So if you're doing something about weather, maybe you create an example book for your students.